Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Tong and I'm a software engineer. And today I'll be talking to you about a side project I've been working on called ProfitLogger. So really briefly, I'll give an outline of my talk. I'll just start by describing what is ProfitLogger and as well as the technology stack that I'm using. And then just quickly go over a couple of features just so you can have a taste of what this application can do. So really briefly, what is ProfitLogger? It's an inventory management web application tool that tracks inventory, maintains state with external selling platforms, and provides some data analytics. So the use case for this application is basically a seller who maybe has an online store and he or she is trying to sell some items, and he or she wants to keep track of various information related to those items. He or she's selling these items on an external selling platform, such as eBay, for example. And the main issue that the user wants to solve, or this application wants to solve, is to be able to link information from his items to transactions that occur on an external platform. So once the information is linked, the user can basically look at some analytics that's driving his or her sales, and such as profit or revenue or whatnot. So of course, inventory management tools exist out there. This is mainly as a learning tool for myself to learn how to put together a web application. So in terms of the technology stack, on the front end, I'm using ReactJS, and on the back end, I'm using Django for my API server. And I'm also using some libraries such as Django channels for WebSockets and Celery for asynchronous tasks. These two libraries are important, as you'll see shortly. So in terms of authentication, ProfitLogger uses Google OAuth. Basically, the client is redirected to Google to prove their identity. And upon successful authentication, the client's Google OAuth tokens are stored in a Django session on the server, and that session is identified by a cookie on the client. So one of the main features of ProfitLogger is search. So there are various tables that ProfitLogger maintains, and one big feature is allowing the user to query that table in a very user-friendly manner. So one of the first, most basic tools is that the user can use the search bar in the upper middle corner of the application to search across multiple columns of a table. Another feature is that the query can be qualified on a specific column with special syntax. So for example, you can see in the video, the user is searching for only suppliers that have Milpitas in it, and purchase date has to start from November 17, 2014, and it only wants items for which there's at least 2 available quantities. You can also see that the query is represented by chips, and these chips can be used to basically remove conditions on columns easily. So the query can also be formed using a drop-down menu, as you can see, and this drop-down menu's state is synced with the search bar, as you could also see. And this just provides a user-friendly way for the user to form the query syntax. Lastly, the query state is stored in the URL, and this obviously allows the user to save the URL, share it with someone, and as you can see when you refresh the page, the state is loaded from the URL. So the next really big feature of ProfitLogger is allowing syncing with external APIs. So ProfitLogger syncs information with external APIs such as eBay, and these tasks can take a while to run, and therefore that's why I use Celery to run these using background threads. When the tasks are finished, the server will notify the client to refresh the page via a WebSocket connection. This allows the user to not have to continually refresh to get the latest data, but the user will just basically be handed the most up-to-date data. So when I click this video, you'll see that the eBay orders are were last synced at 7:47 a.m. And while I'm talking, the asynchronous task is happening, and when it's finished, you'll see shortly the data will be refreshed, and as we just saw. And now you can see that the data has been updated at 2:54 p.m. So lastly, just obviously this application is version controlled with Git, and I also provide or use continuous integration or do continuous integration with Circle CI. On the front end, I have unit tests with Jest and also end-to-end tests with Cypress, and also lint with Prettier. And on the back end, I have also unit integration tests just with the Django framework, and I also do linting with PyLint. And as you can see, all of these checks are run using Circle CI. So just really lastly, before I wrap up the talk, some future work is basically integration with PayPal and Amazon, and then also data analytics with D3. So hopefully this was interesting, and thank you very much for your time.